Hi, I'll be speaking English tonight, and I'm sorry that it's a bit dark, but I have problems because of what I do and because of my energy with electricity all the time. So the neon light here exploded a couple of days ago, and it happens to me all the time. So the owners of the flat kind of changed it, hoping that this will last more than usual light bulbs with me, but they obviously don't. So yeah, I constantly have problems with water and electricity wherever I go. It's nothing new. So you gotta bear with me tonight. And I've had a difficult session 2 days ago, so I'm not feeling that perky. But nonetheless, energy wanted to talk to me through me tonight, so I'm doing my best. I'll be speaking about guides. I made a video in Serbia, and I don't know what's going to come out now because somehow, obviously, when I speak in English, I give different information for some reason, and from what I understood, it's because I'm speaking to a different audience. So we'll see. So we're talking about spirit guides. In my sessions, I work with spirit guides, your primary spirit guide, when we go into on the higher realms of the plane where the soul lives. And these are beings that are discarnate beings. They don't incarnate anymore. They are they have been incarnating before. They have been in human form, but they're not incarnating anymore. And this is why you got them as guides, because they have been walking the same path as you. They've had similar, if not the same experiences as you, and they're like your sponsors. So they can advise you and guide you along your path. If you call them, they're always around you. You're always surrounded by your guides. They always follow you. These are beings that are with you in all of your incarnations. These are being. My cat is playing with something that she is not. She can't. So this is what's happening. Your guides are beings that follow you in all of your incarnations. Your primary spirit guide is a being. You can have up to 3. But I usually, during my sessions, speak to one, to your primary spirit guide. And this is the being that is with you through all of your incarnations as your mentor. And since the beginning of your existence, since you were born as a soul. So this is a being that really knows you well. Clients that go to the higher realms, when they work with me, they usually see them as in humanoid form, as angels, but mostly in humanoid form, like large humans, very big humans, and very shiny humans. But usually they also see them as a light. And this is what they essentially are. Sometimes people get confused because they see an energy ball or a ball of light, and they see a beam of light, and they don't know that that's it, but that this is their genuine form. I, for instance, see my guides. I saw them in the beginning as humanoid forms, and as humans, like I would see humans. But later on, I saw them as light, and I saw them as light beings. So basically, they don't have any features. They just are golden. It's not only that I saw them, I felt them. I sensed it was in a workshop where I was given my business card for and directed to be a hypnotherapist, and they were, the 3 of them were around me, and I just didn't feel them. I sensed them because they were lifting my chin. They gave me some medication to drink, and as far as I can understand, that was the soul essence that I left on the other side, because I needed a bit more of my energy to help me with something. And after that, they gave me a business card that I used to use today. I mean, it doesn't look like the business card that I use now, but this is how I'm telling you this, because this is how guidance works. You can just connect with them by thinking of them, by inviting them, because this communication between you and your spirit guides is telepathic communication, and this is how it happens during the session, and this is how they usually communicate with you, through your thoughts, which are their thoughts, but they can sometimes the sentences that they use and the phrasing and the words is different than what you would normally use, or as a sensation or a feeling. It's everything is in the feeling in this area of work. So this is how they communicate basically with you. So this is what we aim for when we go to the spirit realm and you meet with your guides. This is what we ask them. We ask them for their names and how will they communicate with you, and to guide you further and to connect you further. This is not a primary task of our session. My sessions are basically there to connect you with your soul and soul essence, and to connect you with the identity that you have as a soul. And your spirit guides are your mentors and helpers along the way, so this is why we connect to them. But it's not the primary thing of this session is not just to connect you to your guides. I do group work, group sessions, and their primary goal is to do that, exactly that, because you will need them, and you need them daily, and you will need them especially more so now, because of the ascension process of the earth, and everything is being lifted and shifted and cleared, and you will need your guides very much in these coming days. So this is what I'm talking about, and when we connect, when I connect you to your guides, when you connect to them, I usually ask you how do they present themselves to you, and this one of most usual form is in humanoid form, and the light form of light, which is actually what they are. They're energy and they're light, and they can present themselves to you as power animals. Power animals are also your guides. My guide in the beginning was, I mean, I knew who that was, but my power animal is also my guide, and your power animals just sometimes come to you during my sessions, individual sessions and group sessions. And when I do presentations and do a guided session, I have power animals coming to the participants, even if and this kind of just happened. I didn't invite them. I tell them to invite their guides, and in that moment, half of the group, if not 95% of the group, they see animals and they talk to me about animals, and it was happening way too often, so that I can think that each and every one of these clients had something to do with shamanism, which they didn't. It was probably because of me, because I have connections with shamanism, and they just wanted to come out. So I work with power animals when they come in individual sessions too, and in group sessions, and we invite them in group sessions, and sometimes guides of the clients present themselves as power animals, because they need to connect more to the characteristics, psychological characteristics that those animals have, or they guide them in some way, have a message for them. And sometimes it's easier for them to connect with their guides in this form. And as far as I saw, the way they present themselves to the clients is basically different dimensions, because the highest level that they exist on is in humanoid form and in light form. But the other dimensions, when we change dimensions, they usually power animals are mostly for astral travel and astral dimensions. There are more dimensions in astral level, but still. This is what it means, actually, that we're changing and shifting dimensions when they come in different forms. They can also come, galactic guides can come as some humanoid forms or some alien forms, or Mm, dragons, usually they are dragons, and they usually come to dragons. I didn't have that many clients who had dragons as galactic guides, but I've had one. I've had some. I have one. Uh, what other form that they can come into? They can give you messages in different ways. Usually, these messages are through synchronicities, which means something that we call coincidences. It will be a line that you read somewhere, a sentence or a message through a song, through music, through book, through movie. They can leave you feathers around. You might see feathers on the street or something. I've had different experiences with feathers. For me, feathers are very important. But my feathers were appearing in the notebook where I was writing my journal, my morning pages, and I was wondering about my purpose at that time a lot, and what should I do. And I found on these certain pages with those questions a small feather this big, like my fingernail, of white gray, like a pigeon feather, small pigeon feather. And I've had three flatmates at that time, and they saw this feather, and we were checking around the house to see whether anything it could fall off from anywhere. So we didn't have pillows with feathers inside. Nobody had a pillow jacket because it was a winter time, and we were clueless. This feather couldn't. It just appeared out of nowhere. It appeared out of nowhere. So I threw it away because it kind of frightened me. More so, it frightened the girls around me, so I felt strange and I threw it away. Next day, I found it on the same pages in my notebook, the same feather that I just threw away yesterday. So I kind of kept it then, and I took it as an omen, as a message, as an omen, and I kept it for a while, and kept it in my wallet until another friend told me something that it means something negative, and other things. Then I kind of see myself through the eyes of other people, and I believe them. So I basically threw it again, and it appeared again on my night table next to my bed. Then I was wearing it for a while again with me, and it disappeared on its own. And yeah, that's the story about feathers, and feathers are important for me since then because they are messages from your spirit guides. And I have more feathers. This is the thousand. I don't know the word in English for this. It's not a peacock, but it left this feather for me in my backyard this summer. I'll remember later. And this is like an eagle feather that it was bought. This wasn't left for me. So, but it means something for me because my first animal, it's my totem animal that I connect to this. It's eagle. So, yeah, your guides can also be stones. I'm looking for my very first stone. I work well with stones. They're my friends. As you can see, I have this crown in case you're wondering because I'm speaking about guides. And before I go on to the stones, these are stones. These are minerals, crystals. But yeah, and I have these. I have a quartz crystal that it's programmed for my path, and I've been having it with me for 18 years now. And it's my very first stone, my very first crystal, and it's been giving me. It can give you messages. You can talk to it, and you can even see stuff in it, and it can help you channel, especially quartz. Some say that it's your higher self and your soul that speaks to you and gives you messages through this, but from what I've seen, I see different beings. They present to me the shape of the stone and the shape that it speaks to me through. It's different than what I usually see my soul, myself as. So I don't know. I don't always see. It's just the knowing, the notion, the information that I have through knowing. But it's it's my friend. This is my friend. And you can also speak through. Excuse me. It's very cold outside. We have a very nasty winter now, so sorry. So this is, you can speak through a regular stone. You can find a stone in a river, on a road, and it can also be a message from your guide, your primary guide. And that I was given this and by the river Savinja in Slovenia, where I worked, where I had workshops for a while and sessions. And I just saw it in the creek, in the river where I was standing, and it was sort of inviting. So I consider it to be a present from the river, and I didn't speak to it, but you could, if you want to connect. And from what I'm seeing, this is some sort of jasper. Yeah. And then you can have a spirit guide as plant. You can have a plant teacher. I also have a plant teacher, and I don't connect to it very much as I should. And it's not the plant. This is cacao beans. I don't know if you can see them. I connect to cacao very often, and I was drinking it in the last video in Serbian, but I was really not very able to speak properly, so I'm not doing it now. But these are cacao beans, and it helps me clear after sessions and when some things are going on, and it gives me guidance and direction. But it's not my plant teacher. So you can connect to them because everything is alive and everything has a soul. Everything is a spirit. It has a spirit. It's a part of a larger being that we all are a part of. So you can connect to it, and you can receive information through it, and they can become your guides. And I'm showing you all this just to direct you to know that everything around you is alive, and if you connect to it, it can guide you and it can help you on your path. But these are not what I've just shown you. These are not the guides that I work with. I worked with discarnate beings, with light beings. There are your mentors, and they're sort of connected to you always. It's just you. It's just us that don't know that we are connected to them, that we just don't sense them, we don't feel them, because we're mostly in our mental minds and on earthly plane and earthly duties and whatever we do, whatever we need to do. And it's through this last session we just had such, I've just had clients that had a car accident when they were coming to see me, and it was such a message from the Council of Elders for the client, and because they ignore messages from their intuition and their guides. And when we were trying to, during the session, to see what was going on and ask what happened and ask for some guidance on what to do, we were given by the guides of a woman, of this person, connect to very clear who to call and what to do, and it was really clear guidance. And after the session, we did that, we followed those steps, and it was help. It was real guidance for them, but it was a message and a lesson, for all of us, but especially for them. So yeah, that was, I'm not going to speak about Council of Elders now. These are also beings, but they don't come on the on earthly realms. They don't connect to you in the same way as your guides, primary guides, do. And your primary guides are all the time with you. They don't come into body, but they connect to you through your light body, and through your physical body also, because they give you sensations. And they use different methods, but usually these are very subtle messages and very subtle methods, and when and yeah, sometimes they can be dramatic. If you don't want to listen, if you don't pay attention, they become dramatic because your soul has agreed for those to be dramatic, and you need drama to be shaken up and to listen. And yeah, this is what they tell us when we ask them in session, why this, what has happened, why such dramas. And they said, yeah, you needed drama, so because you wouldn't listen, you needed a kick in the butt so that you can hear us out. And this is what we had this Friday. Or Thursday, not Friday, Thursday. So why am I wearing this? I started to tell you, but I didn't. Usually when people see them in humanoid form, in this big human forms, they wear some jewelry. When I saw my higher self, actually, it was wearing a crown, and I saw this crown in a dream. And then I met a girl who made this crown a year before that, and she kind of, I mean, I bought it from her, but she was really nice to me, and she gave me some discount and waited and stuff. Yeah. But this was my crown. And female guides, you can see them as female or male. With some of my clients had crowns. It was not my guide who had a crown; it was my higher self. And then they have staff like this. They can wear staff like this, but usually they wear this is not a. They wear the big one, a rod, and usually they see a guide with a rod. And from what I've seen, it's mainly one and the same being who's bringing people to me. And yeah, I forgot some to mention some of why am I doing this, because I'm obviously holding somebody's rod now at the moment. Yeah. What happens during the session when they give you a name? Sometimes it's their proper name, and sometimes it is not, because usually clients cannot really pronounce or hear properly what the guide is telling them. Sometimes those figures are historical figures like saints and gods or goddesses. These are archetypes, and this depends. You see your guides as this being. Your guide is this being because it goes through your programming and through your belief system, and this is the realm that you're connecting with. These are archetypes, and they are a bigger soul and project themselves in small fragments, and so they can work with more than one person, but usually they do not incarnate anymore. So your ancestors can be your guides, but they're temporary guides, and your deceased ones, your loved ones who are deceased, are also temporary guides, because they serve to sort of direct you towards spirit world, so that you become open for that. But they're not your guides. People tell me during some, especially the ones who are more younger souls and who want to talk so much with their loved ones who have died, but some couple of them told me that, but they're not your guides. And the other ones who are more advanced souls, they know that they know why they're there. So they just serve for you as a bridge until you connect to your primary spirit guide. And they are sort of your inner guides, but also your outer guides, because they do exist separately from you. They are cosmic energies, and they are separate from you, and you are a part of them, but they are beings who are not you. How do I explain this? Yes, on some level, you are a part of them, You're part of this energy. But I ask during the session for the name of a guide, and later on I ask for your name. So what usually clients tell me is that their guides are separate beings from them, and they have different names. They themselves, their soul has a different name. And when guides give you their name, that can also be a message for you, and they're trying to tell you something with this. And when you receive your own name, it's not a message. It's something. It's a name that connects you to your identity as a soul and to the essence of the soul that you left there, to the rest of the energy that you left there. We don't bring all our energy here with us. So what was I? Yeah, the name of guides. I've had these clients. I had to take some drinking juice. Energy of guides and their name. As I said, can be a message for you. So I've had clients, a couple of them with this case, and a guide told my client that and she was crying when she came to see me because she didn't want to change her life, and she didn't know why was she here, and she wanted to keep up a situation that was not really good for the rest of the people who are involved there, but she didn't want to leave it. And during the session, guide told her, I brought you here. And then but she didn't know, she didn't remember that, but it came out throughout the session. He told her that she, in her dreams, that she goes to some realm, and they meet in a forest where there's a table, and this guide that she described as a big being, like a wizard, in long robes and white robes and curly hair, white curly hair, and a hood, white hood, and I can't remember if he had a beard or not, but sometimes he has a beard, sometimes he doesn't. He also had this big rod, and he told her that he brought her to see me, and he also connects with her in her dreams. She goes there to this realm, and she's one of the 12 of his students that he chose because of her abilities, because she obviously astrally projects, and she doesn't remember that, and it's time for her to become more conscious of that and work consciously. And I don't know why I'm doing this. it's automatic. Sorry. And he told her afterwards, when we asked about his name, he told her his name was Bahamas. Well, was this really his name or not? But it was a message for her because it meant, come on, let's go. It's time, come with me. So I don't know if she understood that. There was another client. I also had a client, which she was 21 at that time. And because of the loss and death in her family, she wanted to have this session. And she was waiting for a year to have a session with another therapist. But after that year, for some unknown reason, the therapist canceled, and nobody else wanted to see her. And she directed her to me, and I said, of course, I'll see you. I mean, you have issues, and I'll see you. And then when we were doing a session, she was told by her guide that she described similarly as the previous one, that he brought her here. And this is why all the others were canceling on her. And I'm trying to remember some other interesting stories about names of guides. I've had another client who saw her guide as a big black panther climbing on some tree that she called something like a tree of life. And then this panther comes and beams out through its eyes and shines out beams of light when he wants to help her and help others. And then when I asked about the name of the guide, she said it's a word game in Serbian, so it works in Serbian, it won't work in English. She said the name of the guide was Isiai, which is translated in English means shine out. She spelled it for me because I thought it was Isaiah, and it was because she was really silent, speaking very silently. And then she was spelling it for me, and then I mean, I don't know if she understood, but for me it meant, because she also told me that she works with younger souls, and when she calls them her children. When I asked about what did that mean, she didn't know. She couldn't explain it to me at that moment, so that remains a mystery for now. And she sort of creeps silently next to those younger souls, and then she shines out like the panther did to help them when they need help. She just sends beams of light. She shines out. So that was a message for her from her guide. So whether the higher self is your guide, it can be your guide. I've had clients who were more advanced and they didn't their own guides. They didn't need guides in that sense anymore, but younger souls still do need guidance. And I've recently, those clients that I mentioned, he's a baby soul. He's still a baby soul. He's a kid, not a baby, but a kid. So he's a child on that level. So he needed to connect to his guide, which he was not doing, and he was making mistakes because he was only relying on his mental mind. Not only this life, but he was making some other mistakes. And the moment when he connected with his guide was something that was amazing and so beautiful, because he was right in through his body and they just didn't connect. He was in him, and I could sense that. You cannot see it, but sometimes I see light beings, but this is not like, it was this huge being. He was hugging himself, but it was this huge being that was hugging him, like a child, like a small child. And the energy was amazing, and it was such a touching moment. It was the presence of something divine was there, and it was beautiful. And all of everything else that was happening there, and the heavy energies that were there, that was all worth it for all this, just this moment, this one small, it didn't last long, but it was so, and that's what it's all about. And especially when you connect to your soul, it's the light changes in the room, and it's different energy, and it's, you cannot see it, but I see how it shines out through you, and it's so beautiful. And that's actually what it's all about in this session. Not about information, but about this moment, about this vibration, about this connection, about being connected to something higher than yourself, and to the divine, and understanding that there is something higher than yourself that is guiding everything, even you, and you don't have to do everything on your own, because you are not alone. We're never alone, actually. Like I said, we can have up to 3 guides. And somebody asked me, can we have more? On what do they do the same stuff? From what I've seen, they have different tasks, and usually, if you work with people, there are beings, or usually people tell me, that clients tell me, they are angelical beings that they come and go, and they work with them. These are, depending on their task, they help them with their energy, and they actually work through those people. But I've had a client who she had some health issues, and she had a guide assigned to her who was helping her with the levels of her energy. So he was keeping her energy high, so that she so that her problem doesn't become more serious than necessary. And but usually they're here to guide you through your life and help you with your decisions. They don't meddle, and they subtly give you messages, so your guides never yell at you. They don't belittle you. They don't insult you, and they don't give you discriminating messages or something that they can tell you sometimes, that they will beat you up with their sticks and rods if you're not listening, but they will kick you in the butt. And this is it. This is mostly it. If your messages from your guide come in a very belittling tone, and they tell you you're stupid, you're ignorant, if they criticize you very much, and especially if this criticism is not empowering, and if the tone is not very nurturing and loving, it's not your guide. It's either your mental mind, some part of you, some sub-personality of yours that you still don't know very well, and it needs to be integrated, or it can be a being connected to you, either a ghost or some discarnate being that needs maybe help from you or from somebody else to be sent off into the light, and you can send it off into the light. Or it can be a false guide. I've had a couple of clients with false guides, and they can also present themselves as light beings, and they can give you messages, and those messages don't necessarily need to be wrong messages. It's just that they don't allow you to connect with who you truly are, because they don't work for you, they work for themselves. And this comes out when I ask, who do you work for? That's what comes out. They don't want to answer. So this is how we discover them a couple of times, and they usually connect through your they connect to your beliefs, to your wrong beliefs, and this is they can, and they enhance them, so you can help them be here and live here in this realm. Sort of, it's not always that they take away your energy, yeah, but in a sense they are, because you create what they want you to create, and they can either send you thoughts, or they can either send you mental images or dreams. So you create the reality that they want you to create. So you create reality for yourself, but not only for yourself, but for them too. And you're not fully connecting with your soul. So they're enhancing the disconnect with your soul, and not what you truly need to do to be connected to your soul. And your primary spirit guide is not doing this. He's helping you through your lessons, and he's helping you clear more of whatever is that you need to clear to connect more to your soul and become independent and be your own guide at some point. Or if they're your higher self, connect more to them and become more of them, so that they're fully integrated and they're fully grounded, that the soul is fully grounded in your body, fully grounded, as much as it can be grounded in the body in this plane. So this is the issue. I didn't mention this fully in the Serbian video, because like I said, it's as if I'm speaking to a different set of audience, and I feel I shouldn't, so I stopped, because and this is how I know through my clients, but I also about those guys, but I also I sense spirit world, and I can do this, and I'm connected to them since childhood. I see them. Basically, I don't want to see them, because when you're really aware of a spirit world, you won't always see angelical beings and light beings, because there are other spirits there who are not always well-intentioned, and they don't have your best interests on their mind. So you have to be aware of that, especially of those who are channels. And channel stuff. You really have to be aware of who you are channeling. You should be channeling either your primary spirit guide or your soul, your higher self, your soul. not nobody else. And you're now always, because you can't see them. You can't see them, and I don't always see them, but I sense them, and they've been molesting me all my life, so this is how I know. And I know I've been also told that I can also send them off to light, and I can help them, and this is why they stick to me. But I don't like to do that, and it's always pleasant, and I don't like that. I don't like that task, and I'm really not very acceptant of that. And I know I'm being given lessons, and I'm being kicked on my nose because of that. But I can't. I can't. I do it in a session when it happens, but I prefer if client who has issues like this works on this issue with somebody else who's an expert for that, and there are people who are expert for that. My thing is that to connect you to your soul, and not to do this, not to clear things from you and off you. Sometimes it is necessary so that you can connect with your soul, but you can do that with somebody else, not necessarily with me. And I'm really very appreciative when people have done their work on their energy body, and we can do proper work then with their guides and their soul. I don't do this. It's not my thing. It's what your guides do for you, and it's what your soul does for you. And you can see examples of that if you watch videos from QHHC therapists and like Alba Wyman and other practitioners of the other ones, they don't videotape them, but there are examples of this. And this is not something that is unusual, but I don't like doing that. And yes, sometimes it's necessary, especially when there is something. I don't really know if there is such a thing as a false guide, because obviously at a certain moment they serve the purpose, but now they don't serve a purpose anymore. They're not helping you anymore, and they need to go. And sometimes they don't want to go, so you have to work a bit more so that they can leave. They leave, and how they're there because you made some contract with them a long time ago when you needed them and you didn't know better, and now they sort of at some point took over because you think they're your guides, and now they just have to understand that you don't need their help anymore. Their services are not needed anymore, and they can just be gone. That's pretty much it. What happens? It's not. They need persuasion a bit, but this is what happens. And I don't know what's happening with the picture at the moment, but yeah, things just become later. About my guide, I have promised to speak about my connection with my guides, and I've spoken about this in Serbian video, and I didn't cry, which is a good thing. So I connected with my guide. I've seen my guide. I've seen in a meditation, and I know who he was, and I know I'm seeing this guidance through my programming, but I don't care because it helps me. And the first teacher, I saw my teacher first, and my teacher, I have 3 guides, 2 male and female, and they're a couple, and 1 older guy who is their senior. And by the way I understand it, the 2 of them are actually him. He's more advanced soul than they are. I don't know how to explain this, but it's complicated. I didn't understand everything yet so far, but those younger 2 ones who are a couple in my guidance system, they are making this older being. So he's sort of like an over soul of theirs, something like that. That's how I understand it. Might not be so. So anyway, the first I first connected to my female guide teacher. I called it a teacher at that time, and she presented herself to me in different ways. Sometimes she would wear like these Muslim robes, but then I discovered later that I had some Arab lives. And later on, she was like this female figure with long, very thick, sort of auburn red hair or something like that. And I know who that being is. I have the name of that being. And I later on connected to her partner and my guide. I also know that being. And how I know. How I know. I've had this experience after those feathers and stuff that were guiding me in this way. When I was in Switzerland, I saw my guide, the male presence. I saw him with my eyes open, and this is how it happened. My friend who I met there, she's an older woman who is a healer, and she's working. She's teaching 3-year-olds catechism and communion, so she's using something very plastic as an explanation for them. Like she uses wine and water, and she pours it, and she has a story. And I mean, it's complicated. I can't explain how it, but she uses it as a healing, and she receives information. And she was chasing me around the house. But from the moment when she saw me, she was chasing me around the house, telling me that somebody has a message for me, and I mean, Christ has a message for me, and he wants me this and that. And I was scared of her at the beginning, but then because I really liked her, she's a really nice lady, and then we sat and talked, and she did this communion thing with me, and she received some messages, and I received some messages, and it was beautiful, and it was sort of an initiation of a sort into the spirit world. And then she took me into the church it was 11 at night, and there we were not alone. There was somebody else with us too, but we were sitting in, it was Protestant church, so basically the church doesn't have any ornaments, only the windows, those mosaic windows, and a statue of a Christ, which is a small statue, like this big, a wooden statue, not very lively. And we were sitting, and she was singing in Spanish because she's from Colombia. And at that moment, while she was singing, I was seeing, like, I was observing there were 2 plants, big plants, and the shadows of those plants were looking like angels, and they were swinging in the rhythm of the way she was singing, and they were talking to each other. And then I saw, like this in front of me, all of a sudden, the male presence, like the statue, the same robes that the statue had, but just the male figure, like in not the small figure, but the big figure, like a proper man in front of me. It was a hologram, not a person. It was sitting, and he was in front of me, standing, and like extending his arms for a hug. And I freaked out. I was totally freaking out because I didn't know if anybody else was seeing it. Was I going crazy? She confirmed it to me. She told me that she saw it too, but I don't know if she really saw it or she was just wanting me to believe in it. But I didn't go into that church for a couple of years after because I couldn't. I went the next day to see, because when she was singing, everything became alive in that church, and this and I saw this figure, and it stood in front of me for a while, And I just didn't know what to do. I was freaking out, and it just disappeared because I didn't do anything. I didn't accept the hug, which I'm really sorry for now. And then when I saw the statue tomorrow, it was lifeless. It was not even that big, and it was, I mean, it was a proper spiritual experience. And I saw it again a couple of times, not in the same way, but when I was in the retreat, spiritual opening of the heart retreat that I mentioned in Greece with this teacher, the Yanis, he had a room that he fills up with energy, and it's a special room where you can go and get cleared and lie down. And when he needed to do some serious work, he would be doing it there. But there was a certain procedure for you to enter into this room, and we couldn't go at night for some reason. And at some moment, again at 11 at night, I felt the urge to go down, and I knew that as far as I knew, there was nobody there. And I opened the door, and from the door of this small room were a bit open, and there was light, like bright light coming out of there. And I knew that there was no source of light of any kind in this room. And I was completely confused. And then again, I was scared and I didn't walk in. Although I don't know why, because it was probably the safest place in the planet at that moment. I just freaked out and I didn't walk in, and I'm really sorry about that now. And then there was another participant who just came that night, and I didn't know about it, and he was sleeping in the next door in this room where I was supposed to go through to come to the small room. And he kind of heard somebody and started to wake up, so we kind of startled each other. So it just disappeared, and I'm just really, I don't know why I didn't go in there, but I didn't go in there. It spooked me up. And I also, because he has sketches of ascended masters in this, because he's of theosophical approach, so he has paintings and sketches of portraits of ascended masters. And on that next day, or I don't know, next time when I walked in the daytime, I was watching. He was with me, or his wife. I don't know, was it because he was explaining to me the names of the beings. But when I was standing in front of Mother Mary, I saw her eyes move. I mean, she was alive. The energy was there. She was alive. And I saw the eyes move. She was moving her eyes, and I was like, I wasn't scared at that moment, but it was a bit freaky when he told me, I mean, but they are here. They are very much alive. It's just us that don't see them because our energy is not high enough for us to see them. So they can only give us messages like this. And they are our guides, actually, the ascended masters, and they are our guides because they have been walking the path that we are walking now. They have been alive. They are alive. They're just in a different dimension that we cannot connect differently. And I don't know what's happening now. Never mind. It was those moments were really beautiful, but I don't know why I got so scared. So afterwards, when I came back home, I was 25 now. No, that was in 2010. But when I saw my guide, my eyes open, first time I was 25. And because I was going to some meditation groups even then, I was watching at the candle. I was meditating on a candle flame. And for some reason, I wanted to have a feeling of how they feel, how Mother Mary feels, how Mary Magdalene feels, how Jesus feels, and how Archangel Michael and some other beings feel. And I was really sensing that, and I was sensing their energy. So this is how I know this, because I practiced my connection with them, and they show them as you see, they showed themselves to me. So I know that they are real. And this is why I can work with them. And this is why I can speak about spirit guides without feeling odd, because I've had my connection, not only because I have connections with spirit world since childhood, but because of this, because they have shown themselves to me. They made an effort to show me that they are real and that they exist. They just came for me at that moment and extended their arms so that I can trust into spirit world. And I love my guides, and I feel them more my parents than I feel my parents to be my parents. So this is why I guess they work so well in the sessions with me, and it's them who are guiding the session, not me. It's them who do the work on you and with you, not me. And I can't take credit for that because it's not me. They work through me. I am holding the space for you. I'm not only a channel, I'm just holding the space for them. And I've had this last session, they showed it very clearly to me, and I don't want this connection to break, and I don't want to do anything to break this connection, because I know who works with me, I know who walks with me, and I am basically nothing without this guidance. I can't do nothing. I'm small, and I don't want to lose it. I'm very grateful for it. So that's how I know. And when I was working, I mean, I was told my name. I know my name, and of the other, all of my guides. And when I was after that experience in the church, I was asking with the candle. When I worked with candle, I asked my primary guide what's his name, and he told me his name is Emmanuel. And for me, Emmanuel is the older one, who is consisted of the two younger ones, and I know who they are also, but I don't want to say that now. And when I worked with Mary Magdalene, for instance, I didn't feel her like I feel the others from the outside. I felt her from my heart. So I know I know who is my teacher and who's on the higher planes, hiding behind some energy. It's just that I've been giving different names, that because I can't accept it. So I'm not working with them. I'm mostly working with this energy who calls himself Emmanuel, and he works, and I know he works with me in my sessions, because I feel that energy. I feel that energy with me, and for me, that's Christ. It's Christ energy. Christ is a consciousness. It's our being. It's consciousness that spreads into many beings, into many forms. And I know the energy that works with me in sessions mostly. And for why is Emmanuel for me Christ? Because we have a passage in the Bible, and at least in Orthodox Bible, that says, and then she gave birth to son Emmanuel. Maybe that's my programming. Maybe this is not true. But so far, it worked for me. And I've had many times when this presence actually saved my life. So I am really grateful for this presence in my dreams, in my higher realms, and in my life. What else did I want to tell you about guides? Oh, I have props. Besides this, I wear this actually. I actually wear this when I have group sessions. You can work in group sessions with your guides. I do that, and we start by working with your inner child. We do other sessions where I connect you with your guides, and we mainly work that. And I will have a series of group sessions or workshops that will be dealing with spirit guides. And I have props for that. I usually use this deck. These are not tarot cards; they're angelic cards, and they are translated into Serbian, and they use it for visualizing sake, so that you can connect better, not because of the messages, but because of the visualization sake. So this is one, and the other one is Archangels deck, and I actually mainly when clients mention who is there, they mainly mention a couple of archangels that are there, and they're not usually the ones that are most known. You don't need a certificate to connect to your spirit guides. You don't need a special training for that. It's better when you work with somebody, when you through your in workshops and something like this, if you can't, but you don't need to. I did it on my own. Anybody can do it on their own, and they speak to through your intuition, and this is what actually happens, and this is what you receive in group sessions and in individual sessions. We work on enhancing your connection to yourself and your intuition, so that you can know who you are and you can connect to the spirit world and them better. And I started with this book, In Divine Intuition, by Lynn Robinson, and I got this really long time ago, maybe in 2001, because she's a master in educational sciences, and I am too, so I could connect with that. So I was really academic then, and I just couldn't accept most of the things that were happening to me, and I had to understand what is happening to me and what am I going through. And my teacher Sandra, she was sending me, she sent me those cards, and she also sent me this book, and a lot of love from my spirit guides and from a couple of my teachers like Sandra and Yanni. It's a lot of love is infused in me, and despite of my difficult childhood, this is what was actually guiding me, and I'm really grateful for that. So for other beings and other teachers and others who'd like me to come out and play, and would like me to be a bit blocked here, no. Like I said, a lot of love has been infused so that this being can develop properly. I'm not going to let anybody hinder that for no reason. And then, I started reading Celestine Prophecy, which is translated in Serbian, which is probably commonly known for the English-speaking audience, but for us it was really something new. But that was really a wake-up call for me. But I read these books like Life After Life by Raymond Moody, and Light on the Other Side of Life by Raymond Moody too, when I was 16, because one of my high school friends had a clinical death, and he was speaking to me about his experience when he died, what happened when he crossed over, and he was there for very short time, a couple of minutes, and then he told me, and I was really curious, and that boosted up my curiosity. So I was reading these books, and one of the things is that the editor of these books is Paul Rand, my mentor for LBL, which happened many years, 20 years or so, even a bit more later. So yeah, and there are other literature. There's also the artist way that Sandra sent to me, because that was helping me also connect with my inner self and my guides. And you can find other books that serve your mental mind, but you are not going to find your guides, your spirit guides, in books and in knowledge. You will find them in your heart, and you connect to them through your heart and your intuition. And I think this is all what I wanted to say about that. Let me check. You can try and connect to your spirit guides now. Invite them to come now and connect and see what happens. Just come, spirit guides. Just be here now. Show yourself now. Give me a message now. I would like you to connect to your guides. I mean, what happens after my sessions, what I've seen from my clients is that they don't connect to their spirit guides after, only a few of them. And they still want me, they ask me, they want me to tell them something. We all do this when we are in stress, when something not so nice is happening to us, when we don't know where we are. We just need an outer guide, when somebody to tell us something. Yeah, your guides can speak to you through other people, like Mary, my teacher. She was speaking to me all my life through my teachers, through Sandra, through Yanni, through Helena, through other people. But they are not her. And your teachers are not your guides. They are an extension. Their extension, they can be a bit fragment of this energy, but usually they don't incarnate. So the point is that you connect to them, not to me afterwards. This is the point of the session. So you can rely on your inner strengths, so you can develop your inner strengths, so that your guides can help you develop your inner strength and guide you further along your path. So this is the idea. That's all what's about. So when you ask me, it's okay when you ask me other questions, and if I want to explain, if I need to be there for you, or if you need a further session, and if you need some support, that's fine. But I'm not your guide in that sense. I'm your guide throughout the session, and I'm obviously, whether I like it or not, some sort of a spiritual teacher. I don't like this name, but I'm in lack of a better one. But that's not the point. And I can do people do many things. I can use this, but usually I don't want to, because I've been tested so much by my own guidance. And I've just recently been, when I was asking why this happened, because it has never happened to me in these 4 years that anybody had an accident and a disaster when they were coming to see me. And I had to take care of these people. They had to sit in my house all along. And when I asked why this has happened, because I thought it was bad. It was a bad thing. It was obviously, there was a lesson for me there too. So what was the lesson? And I was told, so that we can see whether you care about the people more or something else. So what can I say? Be aware. That's all there is. Be aware. This is why you come to see me. This is why you need your guides, to be aware. And they are helping you be aware and develop. And they're helping you to go to the next level. Yeah, I am. I'm helping you too. But it's about them. And you need to have a bit of faith and love for your guides. And for me, they're real. They're more real than you and me. And in this sense, like Michael Newton said that there are not angelical presence, that the angels don't exist. and that it's all through our programming. I don't know about what was Dolores Cannon saying about this, but she is saying that our spirit guides are more real, that they are real, and that they are not us. They're separate beings from us, which Michael Newton didn't believe. And I'm more inclined, from what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing from my clients, to believe what she's saying. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'll be proven differently because as you develop, so the way you perceive things and understand them changes. So we'll see. But I'm not telling you anything that I channel. I'm telling you what my clients tell me, and I'm telling you things from their experience and the pearls of wisdom that they share through the sessions that they have with me. And I believe that more than my own channeling, because I can also filter it through my own programming. So yeah, do try and connect with your guides, because that's what this is all about. And you will need them. And when you are in discomfort and in moments when you only have to rely on yourself, this is when you know. This is when you mostly know. And I've had these kind of moments throughout my life in numerous ways. I mean, I've had these experiences that can be really dangerous for me, that only this connection got me through it. And I relying on my intuition. This spoke to me through my intuition. So this, I'm repeating, this is what we do here in my sessions, in my group sessions, and in my individual sessions. So if you only want to connect to your spirit guide, we can do that in a group session. And an individual session is more about connecting to the other beings and to your soul. And this is an individual session it's not recommended for an online format, but for a group session is different thing. But for inner child and spirit guide things workshops that I use, and then guided sessions that I use, yeah, they can be done in online format, and I'm probably going to do that at some point, and I will notify you in due time. As for now, I'm thinking about only this that I needed to tell you now. Thank you very much for putting up with me. It's been a longer video, and I had a lot to say, and there's still a lot to say, but thank you very much. And do make comments, connect with me, contact me, come for a session, and thank you for following me, and God bless. Bye.